The original drawing was made by a student of mine. He photographed it with a cell phone and then he emailed it to himself. I'm just going to open up a version of it on my computer to show you how you can take a drawing of yours and turn it into an animation. So here it is in Photoshop, and we're going to use the magic wand tool to get rid of the background. If your lines aren't all connected and there's a gap, you'll accidentally get rid of parts you don't want to. So what I'm doing is I'm just going to use the brush tool, and I'm going to close all the little gaps, and then I can select out the background. I'm going to now save it as a PNG. I'm making a file, and I'm just saving it as 01 Emerson because that's the name of the student, Emerson. Now I'm going to take the lasso selection tool, and I selected the arm, and now I'm rotating it. I hit edit, transform, rotate, and then I have to move the center up to the elbow. See how I slid it over? And now I'm just taking the corner and rotating it. And then I'm going to save it as another PNG, and I'm going to call it Emerson 02 in the same folder. Then I'm going to reselect the arm, and again, you have to take the center and you have to slide it up. I'll show you here. So now I'm selecting it with the lasso tool, and then I'm hitting edit, transform, rotate, and then I got to pull that center up to the elbow and then take the corner and rotate it. If you don't do that, it's just going to spin and the axis will be in the middle. And I'm now going to save it as Emerson 03, and it's also going to be a PNG. It's very important that it's a PNG because the PNG means it has no background, which means that you can take make an animation with it and put any background you want on it. Now I'm going to keep on manipulating it, but this time I'm going to use the pencil. Oh no, I'm going to use the lasso again, and I just rotated the eyebrow the exact same way. So it can change the expression just by selecting and rotating the eyebrow. However, if you do that, you're going to have to fill in any little blank spots. You don't want holes in your person. So I'm now rotating the other eyebrow, and then I'm selecting the empty area and filling it with white. So that'll be edit, fill, white. Now I'm saving again as 04 Emerson, another PNG, portable network graphic. You can take the pencil, not the pencil, you want to use the brush tool, the eraser, you can change the expression. You can make all sorts of subtle changes to your figure. So now I've got I'll have about 5 or 6 of these. I'm going to open a new Photoshop file, and I'm going to put them all in a stack. As you can see, I've opened all of them, and I'm copying and pasting them into one Photoshop file. So they're now all layered up, but they're not lined up with each other. So you have to actually go to each layer, and you have to lock the other layers. I would start at either the top or the bottom. You lock the other layers and you hide them, and you just deal with 2 layers and you move them over until they're all lined up with each other. Now you've got a stack. You save it as a PSD, as a Photoshop file. And now you're going to go to Adobe Animate, and you're going to import that stack into your library, and you're going to convert them to keyframes. Now you're going to see that there's a problem. I bring them in, it's just too darn huge. So I actually have to close this Adobe Animate file, and I'm going to have to go back and do image size and change it to a smaller size. So now again, I'm starting a new Adobe Animate file and open new HTML5 canvas, and I'm going to set the size to 1100 pixels wide and 800 pixels tall. I'm going to import to the library, convert to keyframes, and now I'm going to go to my timeline, and I'm going to insert a blank keyframe, and I'm going to drag over my first person, and you can see he's a lot smaller now. Then you duplicate that frame, and then you add another blank keyframe, and then you bring over your second person. So it's just drag the person over. And how do I line them up? I line them up by using the onion skinning that I told you about last time. So I'm just lining up my people. I use the onion skin to make sure that everything's in the right place. You can find the onion skin underneath the timeline. See, I can just slide it in. You'll see a ghost image of the previous frame, and then you copy and paste the frame so you're making an exact duplicate, and then you create new blank keyframe and you drag over the next one. You keep dragging them over. I've got about 6 images here. It's going to be less than a second of animation, maybe half a second of animation. So once I have the frames all lined up, I'm going to have to click on the first frame, hit shift and click on the last frame of my animation, and then hit copy frames and paste it again. And that'll give me 1 second of animation of the person moving his arm and changing his facial expression. Now let me just go over how to export. You just go File, Share, and then you want to share it as a video. And when you're done sharing it as a video, don't forget that you're going to need to use the Adobe Media Encoder. It's the final step to get the usable video. You're going to use the Adobe Media Encoder to create a video that you can upload to YouTube. Here I am testing it. I just hit Control Test, and now I'm exporting it. And then I'm going to open the media encoder, and you hit that little green triangle at the top, and that will save it as a video that you can post on YouTube or email to somebody if it's short enough. And if you notice, the background is black, so you can even add in a background in another layer before exporting it. This is the Helpful Art Teacher with another art tech tutorial.